Welcome to another episode of the Choke Slam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One, on a rainy day here in New York City. And today we got some news, a couple of news that came in as of last night. First one, the big news. Big E has a broken neck after receiving a over-the-head suplex from Ridge Holland on the outside, which he landed on his neck with all his weight on top of his neck. Now, it's very, very important to know that WWE as of late is bringing up NXT talent that I feel that they still need time to develop. Ridge Holland, first time I saw him was at the Royal Rumble this year. A big muscle guy. You can tell that his timing is off. He's not that good, okay? He still needs little time to develop. I mean, he makes a great tag team with Sheamus, but the fact that he did that move and did not protect his opponent, Big E, and botched that move is a problem. Now, many of you are going to say, well, things happen in professional wrestling. It happened to Ricky Starks when he wrestled Hangman Page. It was last year. But, that part was, I could say that was an accident. Because Hangman Page does his belly, back-to-belly suplex good. It just happened that Ricky Stark landed on his neck. But he got up and he finished his match. Big E was stretched out. And then I went back home because I was at a House of Glory event last night, and I was trying to find information whether he probably had a little neck sprain or whatever. Here's Big E doing a video, him with a neck brace around his neck, as the doctors said that he has a broken neck. Good thing that he was able to move his extremities, no damage or anything. But the fact that that little situation there goes to show you that WWE is rushing their talents to the main roster. And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is what happened this week in NXT with Braun Breaker pretty much losing his NXT title to Dolph Ziggler, which to me, I'm going to talk about that. Braun Breaker is another guy who is not ready for the main roster. WWE is rushing everything because they probably got all these storylines supposedly ready for these wrestlers to come up and whatnot. And they're trying to build a fan base that don't have no idea what a storytelling wrestling match is all about. Now, I know a lot of you going to be, oh, you just a hater and you hate WWE, whatever. But what I speak here is facts. Because if you think about it, WWE has conditioned the wrestling fans to get the matches right away. They don't wait. They do not wait. I'll give you a good example. A match that came right through my head right now was Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. They put that match, that dream match, together for one night only. No story developed, nothing, no history behind these two going into the ring. Good thing is that Balor and AJ Styles, those two don't need time to build a story because they'll do this story in the ring. Things that WWE should be doing every single week, but they don't do it because it's called laziness. Okay? Because Ridge Holland, you brought him up too early. Because we could talk about the NXT when Triple H was running it. He made sure that his guys were ready for the big time. Okay? Now, the one person that I could say to myself what it took longer than usual was Aaliyah, who, that girl sucks. I don't care what anybody says. She was 5 years in NXT till they brought her up. She still sucks. She ain't got no charisma. She got nothing going for herself in WWE. But I digress. The NXT back then that Triple H ran, he made sure that these wrestlers were ready for the main roster. this thing that happened last night shows you that WWE and Bruce Pritchard and John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon are rushing these guys to come up, and they're wrestling the WWE way. And what I mean with that is when Triple H was there, he let them wrestle the way they're supposed to wrestle. And if they come to the WWE and they change a little bit or something, that's fine. But WWE and Vince McMahon has had this thing that he wants to rush everything. Because to them right now, it's not even about the product anymore. It's not about the product. They don't care about the product. This is about making money. Okay? Vince McMahon said it himself. He's like, he don't call them wrestlers because he's trying to make them superstar. Do I agree with that? I don't know. Because for him, superstar means that, once you wrestle, you can always be in the movies, just like what John Cena did, just like The Rock did, and Cody Rhodes, and that's why Cody Rhodes right now left AEW with his ball and went home. I mean, let's be realistic. He doesn't care. He's trying to bring in another new set of eyes into the product, okay? And what I mean with that is you could give a good example of what's going on in NXT itself 2.0. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Again, you bring a Braun Breaker up. He's not ready. He's going to end up hurting somebody in the main roster. You brought Ridge Holland. He's not ready. I don't care what anybody says. He wasn't ready to begin with, and that's why now Big E may be out for a whole year with a neck injury. Okay? Neck injuries, you do not come back from neck injuries within 2 or 3 months. Ask Edge. Ask Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ask Kurt Angle. Remember when Kurt Angle hurt his neck in 2002? He didn't come back to 2003, so he was out for almost a year. He broke his neck, and he already had neck issues because his motto was, "I won the gold medal with a broken freaking neck." That was his MO back then. Broken necks, injuries, or neck injuries, it takes time. So now Big E is going to be out of WrestleMania, and now his big payday. All because Vince McMahon decided to bring some green-ass wrestler with muscles, because this is what he likes, big guys with big muscles, all this, just to create a faction. And speaking of faction, so last night, like I said, I was in the House of Glory, and I was saying my goodbyes to my friends and all that, and I ran into JD from New York. So, I always see him. He's the color commentator for House of Glory. And I said, "Hey, JD, I'll see you later." And he said, "Did you see what happened in Smackdown tonight?" I said, "What?" "Did you see what happened with Pete Dunne?" I said, "No." He said, "They changed his name." I said, "What you mean they changed his name?" "They changed his name to Butch." So I said, "Let me get this straight. So you brought up Pete Dunne. He resigns with the company. The former NXT UK champion, the second NXT UK champion, the guy who held that belt probably for a year and a half, something like that. Pete Dunne, a guy who gave Finn Balor the wrestling match of his life, I think it was last year or the year before. And you go and you bring him up to SmackDown, to the main roster, and you change his name to Butch. Now, I just don't get it. I just don't get what's the difference. You're going to try to confuse the WWE universe by changing a guy's name to Butch and make it look like the WWE universe doesn't remember him as Pete Dunne. Now, mind you that you have some, a lot of geeks and morons in the WWE universe. They don't have no idea what's going on. And, they'll call NXT wrestler a vanilla midget. And they'll be like, "Oh, he ain't good." But once they come up now, he's part of the WWE universe. But then you have the WWE universe that are smart. They watch that product, watch other shows, watch AEW, watch New Japan, and they see this. And they shake their heads like, what in the world you just did? Why you had to change Pete Dunne's name to Butch? because you wanted to put him in the faction with Sheamus. So now you got Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch in this faction. What makes me shake my head because it tells you that this is laziness. Laziness. You couldn't. Why did you have to change the man's name to Butch? Why you couldn't leave him with Pete Dunne? You know what I'm saying? And you try to insult people's intelligence like we don't know that he was known as Pete Dunne in NXT. But then he comes up to the main roster. Oh, the guy's name is now Butch. What? I don't understand it. So, speaking of NXT, if you guys saw what happened this week, I'm talking about the Braun Breaker joint. Dolph Ziggler won the NXT title. Now, from my recollection, I know that back in last year, they broke down NXT, the one that Triple H built, to put NXT 2.0 and did all this damn Skittle colors and purple, green, and hot pink all over the place. And brought in Rick Steiner's son, Braun Breaker. They pushed him, even though he was green as hell, to beat Tommaso Ciampa. And they were like, no, we're going to bring in young wrestlers who, if you're over the 30, you can't be part of NXT. And, we're trying to bring in a new set eyes of for the product. We're trying to, cater to the younger viewers like 16 to 18. They're bringing all these girls that's a girl that thinks she's a rapper. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. They're catering to that crowd, But yet, you went this week and had Dolph Ziggler win the NXT title from Braun Breaker. Even though Braun Breaker did not get pinned, but you got to ask yourself this question. Dolph Ziggler has been what we call a mid-card and probably, not doing much. His last big run was probably 2016 when he had that big feud with The Miz for the Intercontinental belt. Before that, he was being pushed in 2014, which he got the win at the Survivor Series team elimination with the Authority, where Sting showed up and took out Triple H in that event. That was the last time I saw him that hot. He got a couple of title shots, world titles with his stupid, it's about me, whatever it was. But other than that, he has not been hot. And so you go and take an opportunity from a younger wrestler that you're supposedly said that you're trying to push now to this younger crowd from 16 and 18. And you put the belt around Dolph Ziggler. And mind you, they brought up Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa has been back and forth with Smackdown, whatever. I think they even brought AJ Styles at one point. Why do you need these guys if you said that you don't need nobody over 30 or 35 wrestling in your show? But yeah, you put the belt around Dolph Ziggler. Again, WWE making themselves look stupid. Again, they contradict themselves. Okay? So you're making yourself look foolish. And again, but then again, let's be realistic. This man don't give a rat's ass. He doesn't. All he cares about making money. You know what I'm saying? The board of directors just gave them a raise, which I'll get to that tomorrow on my audio podcast. But he doesn't care. He lies to the stockbrokers. He lies to the fans. Okay? He lies every time he gets to the podcast. He just gives some bullshit. He's not a front, He talks about that AEW is not competition, but yet last Saturday they had Roman Reigns and the Bloodline attack Brock Lesnar after he beat Austin Theory in Madison Square Garden, made him bleed, something similar that AEW did with the same week with MJF and CM Punk. But AEW is not competition. So it makes it stupid. So I mean, it's goes to show you that a lot of these wrestling fans who support WWE, a lot of them work hard. They are hard working people, and they go and they spend their money to watch this bullcrap. And like here in New York, Madison Square Garden, Barclays Center. Listen, if you take your kids, I'm all for it. The kids enjoy it. That's fine. But a real professional wrestling fan like myself, I'm not going to waste a dime, and I can care less. Because whatever it's going to put in Madison Square Garden, we could see in a Raw on Monday night or Friday. So save your money. Stop buying the merchandise, because that's what keeps supporting them. But you got these WWE marks and people who does not come out of their bubble, who doesn't look at other wrestling federations, but criticize other wrestling federations because they think WWE is the shit. It's ridiculous. My last topic right now, also WWE, is the announcement that they made that Big Van Vader is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. I say it's about damn time, because even though you're late, again, you're late to the party, like they say, because Big Van Vader had died like what, 3 or 4 years, something like that. So you waited for the man to die for you to put him into the Hall of Fame. What I'm reading was that he petitioned for him to be inducted to the Hall of Fame when he knew he had a little bit days left, because he had heart problems. For those who were complaining that Undertaker should be put into the Hall of Fame by himself this year, and had the audacity to get mad because Big Van Vader was announced the next inductee to the Hall of Fame, let me give you a history lesson in case you guys just talk out of your ass and don't look or research who Big Van Vader was. Big Van Vader was a football player for the LA Rams in 1977. He started his wrestling career at the American Wrestling Association, also known as AWA, run by Vergania. He went to Japan, teamed up with Big Bang Bigelow. Him and Big Bang Bigelow won the IWGP Tag Team Champions, I think, several times. They have great matches with the Steiner brothers back then. Vader then went on a single run, won the IWGP belt, I believe, twice in 1989 over there. Okay, let's move forward after that and whatnot. He decided to come to WCW. But before I tell you that, this man used to walk around with this big, gigantic helmet that smoke would come out of it when he dropped it on the stage and said some word, smoke. It was the most coolest gimmick I ever saw, okay? He went to WCW. He beat Sting at the Great American Bash in 92 to win the title. He had a little bump on the road when Sting got hurt on a WCW Saturday Night by Jake the Snake Roberts, so he couldn't wrestle Big Bang Vader that night. Instead, Ron Simmons took his spot. Simmons ended up beating Big Bang Vader. Simmons held that belt for only 4 months because Vader got it back and won. I think it was Starrcade. He beat him. And right after that, Vader had a long run as the WCW World Champion. But dig this. The man was IWGP World Champion at one point and a WCW Champion. Then he lost the IWGP title. Then he became the UWA. That's the European World title. And the Mexico World Champions. This man was World Champion in 3 different continents. Unheard of today. The only one that has come close to winning 3 titles, actually, no, let's put it this way. I think he already did. 3 titles in 3 different continents, I believe, was Will Ospreay. Ospreay had the Warrior Wrestling title, which is he's in the United States. He had the IWGP title and whatnot in Japan, and he had the Red Pro. So probably, yeah, if you count the IWGP belt, because, I mean, he wasn't really the champion, they stripped him, but he's the only guy that ever came close to being world champion in 3 different continents. Big Van Vader, for his size, the man was 450 pounds. He went and he was the guy who ripped Cactus Jack ear in England. He's the guy who grabbed Joe Thurman, a jobber, and broke his back. This man never wrestled again, okay? This guy was vicious. He did a moonsault from the top rope, unheard of, okay? This guy was vicious. When I tell you he was vicious, he was vicious, okay? And it wasn't until when Hulk Hogan and his cronies came into WCW where they tried to make him look bad. He had before that, he had a tremendous match with Ric Flair, Starrcade '93, which Flair beat him for the title, and they had a feud after that. But to be honest, after the whole Hogan thing, and he left WCW, he went to WWE, and WWE just damaged him. He beat up Gorilla Monsoon on his debut, I think, or the night after the Rumble. He had a match with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels started crying like a little bitch because, I don't know, Vader did something that he didn't like, and Shawn Michaels pretty much destroyed Big Van Vader's career in WWE. And that is a known fact, a very known fact, okay? And Vader petitioned before he died to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, and the WWE ignored it. So now, after he died about 2 or 3 years ago, now you want to put him in there? Not that the Hall of Fame means nothing anymore, but ever since they put the Bella Twins in there, and Trump and all these clowns in there, WWE Hall of Fame don't mean shit. But he deserved that to be there a long time ago. And they just ignored him. They ignored him. Now they want to put him in. I mean, he's going in with great company like The Undertaker. Undertaker deserves it as much as he put his 20-year career or whatever in there. But I don't get it. Matter of fact, I don't have to get it. I mean, these guys, McMahon does whatever the fuck he wants. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to do whatever he wants, and nobody can say nothing, and it's ridiculous. But I'm glad he's in. Remember, I said something on Twitter. I'm like, I don't care if The Undertaker goes in, and Vader, if Big Van Vader and Demolition is not in, I don't care. So Demolition is the last one to be in there. So it's time for Demolition to be into the Hall of Fame. I don't care what issues they have, they need to be in there. So that is it for me today, guys, and thank you for listening to the Chokeslam Wrestling Report on the YouTube channel. If you guys want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also follow me on Apple, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Any audio podcast that you like to listen to, your favorite audio podcast. I do an audio podcast. Also, I did it last week where I also added the 100 episode of the YouTube channel, which I think it was cool. I got a little, little trend going there. But tomorrow, be on the lookout for that. Also, what else? You can check my store, merchandise store, the TCWR.veryinkpressive.com. That's TCWR.veryinkpressive.com, and you guys can check that out and see my merchandise there. I got hats, I got t-shirts, I got hoodies in there, so you guys can check it out and support the podcast. Again, this is something that I like to do and give back to the wrestling community. If you guys want to check that out, the website again is tcwr.veryinkpressive.com. Also, guys, you could subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, hit that thumbs up. That will help the channel greatly by, when it starts searching for it and whatnot. So check that out. Again, that is one of the ways you could, find me. So I'm everywhere. I mean, I'm audio podcast, the T and the YouTube channel. Again, Twitter, Chokeslam Wrestling Report, Facebook, Instagram, same name. So I'm all over the place. So check it out. So until then, guys, thank you for coming and checking out the show. Until then, guys, be safe, and I will see you soon.